Mrs. Gates, could you introduce yourself and tell me what you do?
What I do. I'm Sandra Gates. My parents are both living in Inchmarlo House, and I'm an Enterprise Education Development Officer with Aberdeen City, working with Determined to Succeed Scottish Executive, doing business partnerships and working between education and the world of business.
What brings you into contact with Inchmarlo House? Why are you here?
Well, today I'm here because I've just had the most lovely lunch. We quite often come out for Sunday lunch with my parents. I come here maybe 2-3 times a week, and the contact with Inchmarlo was finding somewhere that was suitable for both my parents. There are lots of nursing homes around Scotland who help people look after parents, but there are not very many who actually look after the needs of people with very diverse needs. And in my parents' case, we really needed something that worked for both of them, and Inchmarlo House was able to offer that.
Can you explain what you mean by diverse needs?
Of course. My mother has become increasingly frail. She's always been highly independent, preparing the 3-course dinners, just a wonderful person to look after anyone's house, and looked after the family and Dad very well. And as the physical frailty progressed, it was becoming increasingly difficult for her. And my father was requiring more emotional support. He was becoming forgetful. He had to give up driving. May I say, when he was 91, so he had a good innings. And Inchmarlo honestly was the only place where I could see both of them being looked after well.
How did you come to the decision to bring them here?
The first time they came here, Mum had been really unwell, had been in hospital, and we were trying to arrange care in the home, and that was going to take a little while to set up. And they came here for respite care. They came here last December, and they were here for 5 weeks. And then they went home, and very, very good care was established in their home, but it wasn't really sufficient for them. And Mum had to go into Aberdeen Royal Infirmary for an extended period. And at the end of that, she said, I want to go back to Inchmarlo. A big decision, but she had made it on her own because she felt so happy here.
How did you feel when you brought your parents to Inchmarlo?
I felt a huge sense of relief. I was aware that I was helping look after my parents along with some very, very good care people who came into their house. But we never had time for each other. And now we do. And that became so apparent to me that when I went to the house, I was always doing something for them or with them. And we're a very close family, and we'd actually no time to have family jokes and fun. They were both increasingly frail, and I was doing more and more for them, and they were embarrassed by that. And that's gone.
And how is that solved by them being here?
When I come here, my mum's face lights up, and it's just so lovely to be peaceful with them. It's so nice to see them very well looked after. It's very nice to see the relationship between them and the care and nursing staff, which they treat my parents as though they were their own family, and I can't thank them enough for that. It's beautiful surroundings. I live in the countryside. I have a beautiful house, lovely garden, lovely outlook, but I come here and, it's just so beautiful.
As time's gone on, have you identified any problems, and how have they been solved?
Very often I don't do the identifying. I will get a phone call from one of the nursing staff, one of the care staff, to alert me to anything that might have happened during the day. They're so good at keeping in touch. And I'm involved in every decision. Or if I want to come for lunch, I phone the staff and it's organised. They're constantly in touch with me, and that is lovely because I don't feel as though I've just had to pull back totally from looking after Mum and Dad. I'm still involved, but the staff are as well.
Who's benefited most from your parents being here?
Without a doubt, Mum and Dad. I mean, my mother's confidence in her physical ability, that's just lovely to see. My father was wandering a little bit when he first came here. He was well looked after, very well cared for, and he's relaxed. He had become very anxious about being forgetful, and the anxiety's gone. In terms of my children, we have 4 children, and they all come to visit Mum and Dad, and for them it's just so pleasant to come here and to have time to speak to them without the worries about who will make coffee, or who's making meals, who's doing the shopping. I think we've all benefited, there's no doubt.
It sounds as if you talk about the staff and everything they do. Do you feel that that's important for the staff to make you as welcome as they make your parents?
Oh, yes. I once asked the staff if it would be possible for one of my mum's friends to come for coffee. And it was on a day when I knew that they'd made the gardens open. I think it was the National Garden Scheme. The azaleas were in full bloom. And I wanted my mother's oldest friends to come for tea. And I said, look, I know it's a really busy day, but could we possibly have afternoon tea in the green room, the room we're in now, for Mum and her old friend? But this is your mother's home now, and she has to be able to treat it as such. And I think that encapsulates the ethos of Inchmarlo. It's now your parents' home. It has to be welcoming to all of their family, all their friends. And the staff make it thus.